Quantify Search and Replay is used to search, retrieve and replay recorded communications from your Redbox recorder. If you have replay permissions, then you can access Search and Replay. First, I'm going to show you some of the essentials of Search and Replay, such as layout and customization, and then we'll progress from there. So we already logged into Quantify and Search and Replay was displayed automatically. To do a search, you simply need to specify what to search for. The most basic search simply uses a date range. I'm OK with the date selected here, so I'll click Start Search to perform the search, and I'll double click a call in the results panel to play the call using the built-in media player. I rushed through that a bit, just so you can see everything displayed in Search and Replay. Don't worry, we'll cover this in more detail a little later. As you can see, Search and Replay is split into three main panels. The Search panel is where you define your search. Not just the simple date range we used, but detailed criteria in order to refine your search results and find what you need. The Results panel is where your results are displayed, no surprise there. Finally, the media player is used for playback control. For the Results panel, you can customize this as much as you'd like. Your layout is automatically saved, so the next time you log in, your Results panel will look the same. Each column in the Results panel relates to a piece of data or metadata that's stored along with your recorded communications. This is information such as the call start and end time, channel name, extension number, etc. Click a column heading to sort your results. Click the column drop-down to refine this further and to choose what columns to display. Click a column edge to resize. Click and drag a heading to move the column. One last column worth highlighting is the Flags column, usually displayed on the far left. The flags here will show additional information, like if you've already replayed the item or if it's locked. Just roll over a flag to see the info. Finally, to customize the look and feel of your Search and Replay application even further, select Replay Preferences from the Options menu. Now we've covered the essentials for Search and Replay, let's take a quick look at the Redbox e-learning video. There may be a couple of things that get repeated, but the e-learning video gives a handy at-a-glance style overview. Click the play button when you're ready to move on. Oh, and feel free to answer the quick Q&A question. Quantify Search and Replay is used to search, retrieve and replay recorded communications from your Redbox recorder. If you have replay permissions, then you can access Search and Replay. To do a basic Search and Replay, first log in to Quantify with a user account that has replay permissions. Account setup and replay permissions are configured by your system administrator, so see them for help if you get stuck. OK, back to Quantify. As you can see, my login has automatically taken me to the Search and Replay application. If a different default application has been set up on your login, just roll over the Quantify main menu and select the Search and Replay icon. To do a basic search, just select a date range using the calendar. I'm going to select from January 1st 2016 to June 30th 2016. To save time, you can use a quick pick option instead. Just click the lightning bolt icon and select one of the options, like last week or last month. So to perform the search, click the Start Search button. All communications matching the search criteria are now displayed in the Search Results section. In this case, all recorded communications from January 1st 2016 to June 30th 2016 that you have replay permissions for. To replay an item, just highlight the item and click the play button, or just double click the item. I'm going to double click a call here. The media player is now displayed at the bottom of the screen. Just like any standard media player, use the play, pause, forward and back buttons to control playback. The media player offers a lot of other functions too, but they're covered in a separate e-learning video. Now that we've done a basic search, let's take a quick look at a more advanced search. The Search Criteria section is where you define your search. In our basic search, we just used a date range, which gives a lot of results. But you can add additional criteria here to refine your search further. Click the Add Criteria button and then select the criteria from the list of fields. These fields are the additional data or metadata stored along with your recorded communications. Just as an example, we'll select call duration and channel name from the list, and then enter the data to search for. So Adam Smith as the channel name and calls longer than 1 minute for the duration. Click Start Search and the results are now far more targeted. Just one more thing to mention about call playback. So far we've only looked at a voice call, but when you replay any communication, so a voice call, video call, IM conversation or screen recording, the appropriate player will be automatically displayed by the Search and Replay application. For a voice call, that's the integrated media player we've already used. For a video call player pop-up is displayed. For an IM conversation, a conversation viewer pop-up is displayed. For screen recordings, the voice part is played via the media player and the screen capture part is played via an additional pop-up. Please remember though that video, IM and screen recording are all optional features and may not be implemented on your particular installation. So that's a quick-ish introduction to basic search and replay actions. Check out the Redbox quick question topics and e-learning videos for more information on search and replay and the rest of the Quantify product suite. As you saw in the e-learning video, the search features are pretty powerful. Let's take a look at some of the other search functions to help you get even more from the search and replay application. So when you perform a search, you simply add criteria to define your search. Every piece of metadata stored in the recorder's database is searchable. However, not every field is populated with data. It depends on your phone system and your Quantify configuration. Some fields are always used, like start time, end time and duration, but others are dependent on your system. See your system administrator for details if you need to. I'll just add a few criteria to my search here so I can show you some of the different types and their uses. Okay, I'll pick call direction, channel name and extension. The call direction criteria provides a drop-down menu. Channel name and extension allow you to type text or numbers in the field. You can add and remove criteria as you need to, and enter and clear data as you need to. When using multiple criteria, remember these simple guidelines. For multiple criteria of the same type, a recorded communication that matches any of the defined criteria is regarded as a match. For multiple criteria of different types, only recorded communications that match all of the defined criteria are regarded as a match. For example, a search using call direction set to outgoing and then 2 channel name criteria, one for Adam and one for Barbara, would match any outgoing recorded communications made by Adam or Barbara. When searching text, remember that the search is case sensitive. Also, as you can see from my search, I've used a % character after the names. This is the wildcard character used in Quantify. It saved me having to enter surnames in the search. If you regularly use particular criteria, you can just leave them displayed in the search panel. After you've done a search, you can just clear the data and keep them in the search panel to use again as and when you want to. Be careful not to enter a space in the criteria data though. If you regularly search using the same criteria or the same data, you can also save your searches. Just enter a search name and click the save icon. Okay, let's pause there for a moment, answer the quick Q&A question if you'd like, and when you're ready, click continue to move on. An optional feature within Search and Replay is Audio Search, which allows you to search for spoken words within recorded voice communications. Audio search is used in the same way as any other search. Just add an audio search criteria and enter the word or words to search for. You can add multiple audio search criteria if you need to, and any other criteria too, like channel name or call direction. There are a couple of options you can define for your audio search too. Click the audio search options icon in the criteria. From here you can define the search type, spoken or not spoken, and where in the call to search, anywhere, at the beginning or at the end. The confidence level allows you to set a margin of error. Setting a lower value allows the software to compensate a little for things like pronunciation or speed of speech. When you play a call found using audio search, the media player will highlight the approximate location for the spoken words. This saves you having to replay a long call to find a single phrase. In my example search, I found all calls that had the word Redbox in them. Now let's say I want to check that my agents are using the company name in the first 15 seconds of their calls. So I'm going to change the settings to spoken in first and enter 15 seconds. Now only those calls are listed in the results. Similarly, I could change the search again to not spoken in the first 15 seconds, which would highlight calls that are not complying. One final note on audio search: large or complex audio searches can impact system performance. Try to use additional criteria in your search to limit the number of calls that the audio search is applied to. In this example, only calls from Adam that were made on the 24th of July would have the audio searched for the words Redbox. If I hadn't selected the additional criteria, every single call I had access to would be searched. That's a lot of calls. Every user account in Quantify has replay permissions applied to it. Replay permissions are used to define what recorded communications are visible to a user and what can be replayed. Also, an optional Quantify feature, Replay Authorization, may be installed on your system. If it is, you may only have access to a 5-second preview when replaying recorded communications, after which you'll be prompted to send a replay request to an assigned authorizer. Your system administrator will be able to tell you what replay permissions you have and if replay authorization is installed on your system. As you've seen, once you've found the recorded communications you're interested in, you can replay them directly in Quantify. The integrated media player used to play back voice calls provides superb audio control to help you listen to what you need. Just like Search and Replay, let's take a look at the media player e-learning video for an at-a-glance overview. Click the play button when you're ready to move on, and again feel free to answer the quick Q&A question. The media player used in Quantify is automatically displayed whenever you play a call. Here I'm going to use Search and Replay to run through the media player features, but this same media player is also displayed in other Quantify applications like Live Acquire or Quality Management. So in Search and Replay, just double-click a call to start playback. Like any standard media player, use the play, pause, forward and back buttons to control playback. I'm going to pause playback for now so that we can run through the more advanced features. The advanced features in the media player give you finer control of call playback. These can be very useful for lots of different situations, like repeating a part of a call just to make sure you heard it correctly, slowing the speed down a little because everyone is speaking quickly, muting one side of the call because they're shouting, or boosting the audio so you can hear what's happening in the background. So let's run through these features. In the media player, both sides of the call are shown using a simple waveform. You can use this to quickly see who's talking and when, or to see when there's silence during a call. You can jump to anywhere in the call just by clicking the waveform. Click and drag to highlight a section of the call, and use the loop button to loop playback just within the selection. You can also grab the ends of the selection to adjust it as needed. Each side of the call has its own volume slider and mute button, so if you want to just listen to one person, you can mute the other person or reduce their volume. There are also two tabs that you can use to set preferences: audio effects and replay speed. In the audio effects tab, the auto volume setting automatically brings both sides of the call up to an average level. Out of all the audio settings, I probably use this one the most.
Good morning.
The silent
Redbox
suppression
recorders, Alex
setting
speaking.
automatically skips
Hi there,
any
Alex.
silence during the
Calling
call.
from Origin
Our
Data
call, for example, has
Realisation.
automatically
Payment
suppressed
and,
audio
should
while
be
payment is
okay.
taken,
Hold on just a
known as
second.
PCI suppression. So this
Right,
setting will
that's all
skip
gone
that
through for you
silence
now,
and
Katie.
save you
Is there
listening
anything
to a
else I
minute
can
of
help you with?
nothing.
No,
Audio Boost automatically boosts the volume to a high level, useful when the call is very quiet or you want to hear what's going on in the background. Boosting the volume isn't appropriate for normal speech though. That's because the audio is boosted so high that normal speech gets clipped and the sound is distorted.
And
The stereo mono selection switches the audio output between stereo and mono playback. Stereo will play one side of the call on the left speaker and the other side on the right. Mono combines both sides of the call on both speakers. Obviously, if you have a mono headset, select mono playback or you won't hear one side of the call. Finally, the Replay Speed tab is used to adjust the playback speed. As I mentioned earlier, this can be useful to slow down a fast-paced call or alternatively speed up a call so you can skip through it a little quicker. You can set between 20% and 300% playback speed, but usually a setting between 70% and 130% is the most useful. Anything smaller or greater than this tends to distort the audio to a point that it's unusable.
and so you just come out of Path Manager.
That's stopped.
Oh, right, okay. The best thing to do is you can force that to restart.
One last thing to mention about the waveform volume sliders, mute buttons, audio effects and replay speed settings is that anything you set for these is remembered, even when you log out. So if you replay a call and the audio doesn't sound normal, or you can only hear one side of the call, check your settings. Well, that's a quick overview of the more advanced features in the Quantify Media Player. Check out the Redbox Quick Question Topics and e-learning videos for more information on Search and Replay and the rest of the Quantify product suite. We've pretty much covered everything now for the Search, Results and Media Player panels within Search and Replay. There are just a few optional features that we haven't covered. These are Call Export for exporting call audio, Call Annotations for adding customized metadata, Call Safe for locking and protecting call data, Timeline View for visualizing calls in chronological order, Call Authentication for ensuring calls haven't been compromised, and Spoken Time for overlaying the time onto call audio. Let's take a quick look at each of these. To export a call, you can use the Export tab in the Media Player. Simply make your export settings and click the WAV button. If you select a section of the call in the audio waveform, you can just export the selection only if you want to. Your call audio will be exported to a WAV file, and your call metadata will be exported to a text file. You can also export multiple calls if you have the bulk export tool installed. Here you can select multiple calls in the Results panel and use the export buttons in the Results toolbar. Again, call audio is exported to individual WAV files and call metadata is exported to text files using the WAV button or XML files using the Analytics button. You can also export just the metadata to a single CSV file using the CSV button. Annotations are additional searchable metadata fields that can be added to calls. They're fully customizable and can also be added by call agents if you have the optional Workstation Client features. So see your system administrator for information on what fields have been enabled, if any, and how data can be added and edited. To add annotations to a call in Search and Replay, use the Annotations tab. The Call Save feature allows you to lock a recorded communication to make sure it isn't deleted. This provides a secure, traceable and searchable method for protecting calls. To use Call Safe, simply highlight a call and click the lock or unlock buttons. To search for locked calls, use the Call Safe tag search criteria. At the moment, the results list is displaying communications in a list or grid view. Sometimes it can be useful to view your communications in chronological order. For example, if I switch to timeline view, I can now see quite clearly that Adam was on a very long call while all my other agents were handling short calls. A couple of quick things worth highlighting in this view: use the zoom buttons to zoom in and out, click a call to select it for replay and roll over a call to see the call details. Finally, use the column heading drop-down to select how you want to list the calls. For security, Quantify authenticates all recordings so you can prove they haven't been compromised. The Call Authentication tab in the media player is most useful for system administrators or compliance officers, but a green tick shows call audio is authentic and hasn't been tampered with. Spoken time allows you to overlay the time on top of call audio. Use the options to set the time audio for the local or remote channel or both, and to set the volume. Local channel and remote channel simply refer to each side of the call. Also, you can have the time spoken just at the start of the call or all the way through. Okay, now we've covered everything for search and replay, select the quiz to test your knowledge, or if you're in a hurry, you can skip the quiz and learn about Quantify Live Acquire.